I'm so sorry.
Oh, and you're gonna miss out on the thing.
No, we're just gonna start. I'm sorry. Right. We've been talking here for a good 2 minutes now, thinking we were live. Hello, everybody.
How's it going? It's Grant with the Garden of Eater.
And Shelby.
Now, I killed that first 2 minutes.
It was beautiful.
Oh, man. All right. So, tonight we're going to talk about the American Shrimp Contest. What exactly is the contest? How to sign up. Shelby's going to do a walkthrough, screen share of the entire contest. Deja vu. It's like I said all of this already before. I'm going to go all over grading each category and answer anybody's questions, tips and tricks on shipping and sending your shrimp in. And for those that aren't ready for this contest, maybe you want to gear up and get ready for the Daytona show. I'll be able to answer any questions there. And of course, we'll be giving away some shrimp tonight as well. And these shrimp will be able to give anybody a little jump start into breeding and possibly raising some competition shrimp. So, all right, yeah, let's get back to it. How's it going, everybody? Brand new member. That's when we realized that we weren't going or started yet.
Thank you so much, Zoltan Aquatics, for becoming a member. And here is your welcome video.
I'm pretty sure you're already a member, so welcome back to the team. For those that are a member to our YouTube channel, you get a 10% off code to our website, tgoeshrimp.com, as well as a sticker, and you can reach out to us at thegardenofeater@gmail.com. Send us your info, and we'll get that sent over to you.
Thank you so much, Eric Wyrock. Eric! Coming in with a $5 super chat.
Glad to see you jump ship so much and not on the steam font train still. Appreciate you coming over here.
Thanks for dropping in.
Can't give me my musk turtles. I'm a little mad. Sad.
Yeah, illegal. Sad. That's why.
You could give
you
them
ask
to
him
me.
illegally.
I didn't say sell them. I said get them. Wait list. I never said purchase.
Thank you so much, legal. Eric.
Appreciate it, though. It was lovely seeing you in Louisiana. It was just so long. I don't think you're going to Dallas, which is sad, but I'm sure the Keystone Clash is going to come up really fast as we have a jam-packed schedule from here on throughout almost the rest of the year. So 3 weeks till Dallas, Aquashella. That is tonight's topic. You want to start off with a walkthrough and show these fine people where we sign up, how to sign up, and some little tips and tricks on the different categories and whatnot. So,
yep. All right. So I already have it ready to go. So I did include a link. Well, let me see if this is going the right way. Yes. So I did include a link in the description of the video. So when you're over, you can click on this link in order to sign up for the shrimp contest. So I'll make it a little easier. Give me 1 second to get back to the page.
But we are at aquashella.com. Mm-hmm. This is where you sign up for all of the American shrimp contests. And the Daytona one is included. You can't register for Daytona yet. It'll be open after the Dallas show is over.
All right, so you do have to scroll down quite a bit. They don't actually have a tab ready for this still. I don't know why it's not working. But scroll down, you'll see contests, and of course the American Shrimp Contest. You'll click on that, and it'll pop up. It'll give you all of the information as the address that you're going to be shipping your shrimp to if you need to ship them. All the categories, and if you ever have any questions on these, we do answer these in a video on the American Shrimp Contest. I will have someone include the link on that later, or I will after this. And then it just explains everything, whether we need to ship your shrimp back to you or if you're picking it up when you can pick it up. And then when we have the award ceremony, and then you scroll down here, and here is each of the 6 categories. And of course, you could add several of these. Oh, looks like you can only do 2 per category? I thought you could do 3. I guess
So
it's only
no,
2
you can
per.
only do 2 per category for the American Shrimp Contest. It was 3 for the international
No, that's what's
contest.
confusing me.
This has nothing to do with the international contest, though. That's completely separate. The American Shrimp Contest was kind of set up to get people ready for the international contest, but this one is hosted by someone different than what was originally planned for us.
But it's as simple as that. And if you have any other questions, you can always reach out to us. We do have several videos on this as well. So,
and also, with the $25 entry, you get VIP tickets to the show, both Saturday and Sunday. The awards, I think, on the website right now are posted at 2 o'clock. However, I have something planned now at 2 o'clock, so we're going to move the awards from 2 to 1 o'clock, a little bit earlier, and this will also give some credibility to the breeders, because we do put the scores and sometimes the names, if we have the time, onto the tanks to display them. And then at 2 o'clock, I will be doing the scape off on the main stage. And then at 4 o'clock, we start to catch up the shrimp. So by 5, you should be able to come by and pick up your shrimp. Or at 4, you can come by and help take your own shrimp home, catch them and bag them up yourself. So,
someone needing help. Toop Dog asked, so I just checked one of my tanks and I'm confused with the GH and KH reading. What's on the TGOE site? The site says KH 0 to 4 and GH 5 to 7, but the API paperwork shows in the hundreds. How?
All right. So basically, there's a difference between parts per million and parts per thousands. So you just break it down from parts per millions down to parts per thousands, and that's how you get the 5 and 7 GH. So basically, for the GH and KH test, though, you just count the drops. So if your KH test, you do 1 drop and the water changes, it could be 0, it could be 1. So the best thing to do is, instead of a 5 milliliter test, you do a 10 milliliter test. And if it takes 2 drops, then it's 1. If it only takes 1 drop, then it's kind of safe to say it's 0 or close to it. And then with the GH, you just simply do the 5 milliliters, do 1 drop per, and you'll be able to get the GH that way. If you got any other questions, let us know.
And Orange said hi and good evening. Wish I was able to go to Dallas, but hopeful for Daytona. Well, hopefully we get to see you. I love anyone that can come to Florida. It's so much better. It's so nice to see people in our hometown. Well, close enough. And then I still can't pronounce it. Jan? Maybe. I don't know. Is breeding and selling shrimp your only source of income? And how important do you think water changes are? That's a big topic. Yeah, my PG.
All right. So it's really important to do water changes. There's a couple of different methods going around on the naturalistic method and the no water changes and stuff like that. And there's ways to get those to work and for them to thrive and be well. It's just slightly riskier. And it doesn't always produce the same. I could have gotten that after this one. It doesn't always produce the same results. Some people will have more success. Some people won't be so lucky. And really, the best way to increase baby survival rate is going to be increased oxygen levels. So a good filter and doing nice water changes is going to help increase those water oxygen levels. And then the other thing is the shrimp, as they're breeding and you're going through, several generations and stuff like that, you're going to deplete some minerals in there. So for Caradina, you really can't get away with like making rock piles and stuff like that for the minerals to kind of leach out into the water and stuff like that. But with Neocaradina, you can. But if it's your only source of income, you kind of got to like balance the cost of water to the price of the shrimp that you're going to get. So even with a perfect setup and 0 water changes, you're going to get about 80 to 90% at the best, baby survival rate. But with doing your water changes, maybe you'll get 98, 99%, with even a not so perfect setup and a routine and stuff like that. So I would suggest doing water changes. If it's your income and you don't have anything else going on, you should do water changes.
Yep. And there's nothing wrong with the natural approach or things like that but you have to set it up properly. A lot of people get confused and think just putting water by itself, like you still have to have like natural plants and things like that to create some oxygen in the water to make it better. But natural biotopes, some people don't do water changes on those. They like to make it like its own environment, which you can do. It's a little bit harder, but as for breeding for profit would be better for water changes, just an overall healthier tank and easier to maintain. Did you answer breeding and selling shrimp your only source? I wasn't listening.
Oh, I thought the question was breeding and selling is my only source of income. Shelby currently has a job. She works 3 days a week at West Marine, but that's soon going to come to an end. We're getting to a point with all the plants, all the fish, and everything like that. We either need to hire somebody and pay them, you know what I mean, about as what Shelby makes working at a different job. So it probably just makes sense for her to stay home and us not have to pay somebody, because let's be honest, she's gonna outwork anybody else three to four times at least. Is somebody like Matt from Liquid Zoo probably 200 times the amount of work that guy can do. So yeah, it definitely comes with its perks of keeping her home. That's why he wants you so bad, I can see where it's going. I watch his lives.
I mean,
it takes that guy forever to remove.
I get so many job offers at work because I'm usually like all over the place, and they're like, "Yeah, come work for me. I'll pay you more." And I'm like, I am not going to go work on a sketchy shrimp boat, even though you're trying to pay me $30 an hour. No thanks. Brandon said, "Is Alex making a guest appearance?"
So Alex has been here for like a week, and I've seen him for less than an hour, probably.
Busy. So he's got a lot of things to do.
We went collecting for like an hour before I got the kids from school, and it wasn't even like a complete and total hour. And then we went collecting for like another hour, but we went this way and Alex went that way. So I only really saw him for like 10, 15 minutes during that entire collecting trip. So I've really not seen much of Alex. He went down to LRB's house. Alex has spent more time at my house probably than the rest of Florida. So I'm not going to be upset or anything like that if Alex doesn't come by. I'm just sitting here grinding away trying to get Jaden's room done. And then we're going to start cracking on a lot of stuff out back. And an update video will be happening on that soon. We filmed everything. I just got to do the recording and put some voice on it. And then Shelby does all of the edits and post it up onto our YouTube channel. So maybe next week, maybe not. Before Aquashella Dallas, though, right? We can promise them that.
Let's hope so, yeah. Oinky says there's 144 days till the Keystone Clash. Seems like that's coming up real fast, too. Crypt Keeper, I think, is at work right now.
So let's...
Dr. Anthony said, dang, 4 minutes late. Did Grant mispronounce anything yet?
Probably.
We weren't even started. I swear to 4 minutes late.
Doc, you don't answer me, so I didn't send out your box. But if you would like some more sheep's head minnows, me and Shelby could probably catch you some on Friday and ship that out for you on Saturday with your winnings from the fishfamlink.com giveaway hosted by Jenna Peace and Crypt Keeper. Was that who did it?
Yeah, Crypt Keeper. Cole said the cherries, blue diamonds, and yellows I got from you guys a few months ago are doing great and have eggs now. Love to hear that. You know what I gotta get is little emoji with the dancing pregnant shrimp. She's so cute.
Welcome to muffins.
Thank you, Oinky. Yes, please don't forget to hit that like button, as we always seem to forget. Thank you for joining us tonight. Matt was reaming on you about talking to yourself for the first 2 minutes.
I felt like there was a Matt rip coming. I had to throw one back. All right, well, back to the topic at hand tonight. It is the American Shrimp Contest, and let's talk about Category 1 Neocaradina after this short message from our sponsor, Toop Dog.
Thank you so much, Tube Dog, for the $10 super sticker. Oh, I don't get to see it. I'll pull it up later for you. Thank you so much, Tube Dog.
We appreciate it. Thank you very much. You need to get the jingle going.
I know.
Again.
I forgot.
It's got to be
it.
something nice.
I got it. I have thought of the idea. I just have not had time. We have been working. I got the stand all painted in Jaden's room. It is all done. It's now having to sand and paint the walls, and then we have a cool surprise for everybody. I really don't want to talk about. Some people know what it is, but it's definitely going to be unique for Jaden's room. So we got a lot of work done in there. It's just taken some time because we ran into a couple hiccups on what we want to do and how to fix things. So we're getting there, and I will hopefully by next week have that news song and jingle for that done.
All right, don't let me forget about tonight's thumbnail as well. So back to the contest at hand, Category 1, Neocaradina. This is going to be the easiest category to enter. But because of that, it is also going to be one of the toughest categories to place in. Besides this, I think category... God, I got to remember the categories. I think it's 5. Category 5, which is the Caradina hybrids. They are, that's really high competition right now. And then besides that, it's just the shrimp at hand. It really takes some skill, some breeding, selective breeding, and knowledge to get that kind of quality. So it's not as easy just to buy your way in. And then the Neocaradinas, though, because just about everybody can keep them and breed them, most people will enter them into the contest, and usually it's red cherry dominant, just because that's what most of the people keep. It's what most of the people can go into their tank and find the largest selection of the deepest and darkest coloration and pigments and stuff like that. So, in my opinion, one of the biggest factors of the contest is going to be size. If you're going to be entering in some small, little tiny shrimp, doesn't matter how good they look, they're not going to score very well. First of all, they need to be 3 centimeters. Anything less than 3 centimeters is going to get them points off. Anything over 3 centimeters is going to get you basically extra credit points, because there's a little bit of judges' opinion that is set aside inside the score sheets. And of course, being a judge on one of the international contests, size is definitely impressive. Having 5 of the shrimp that all identify and look identical and, same pattern and whatnot, those are going to be the hardest shrimp to get. Having a uniform coloration and pattern for Neos isn't as hard. That's what makes this contest and this category a lot harder than the Category 5 of the Caradinas, because the Caradinas, there's spots and stripes and all the different things to have to worry about. But with the Neos, it's really going to come down to size. So for that, I would pick out the largest shrimp that you really have, period. And then if you're going to enter 2 groups, the second group, I would go with something that's more challenging for color scheme. So in my opinion, the number 1 color that should get the most points is going to be your greens. Unless somebody enters some nice purples or something like that. Yes, they're out there. I entered some purple Rileys in the very first Dallas American Shrimp Contest back when I was still a competitor, and they did pretty well. I placed with those. It is just really hard to get large purples to get the same color purple all across the board. So if somebody had 5 of those, I would definitely place those above the greens. But besides that, let's be realistic. The shrimp that are actually out there, out in the hobby, and aren't going to be like some wild card, that's going to be the green Caradina. Green Neocaradina. You got the green Jades and the green Emeralds. So these 2 colors are very hard to have stable. And just for that reason, they're going to get you more points than, say, reds or yellows, which are a little more stable. Right behind greens would be orange. They're a little hard as well. And then maybe black rose, but black rose really aren't that colorful, so they might not get you points there. That's really going to be opinionated. Are they going to base it on like the color variety, or are they going to base it on like the strength of the color of black? That's really going to be based on the judge.
I'm actually pretty disappointed thinking about it now, because we do the American Shrimp Contest and we're going to Texas, where everything's big in Texas, and we didn't make the shirt say size matters and a Texas symbol. That's absolutely
that's for our. That's got to be our t-shirts.
That would have been great. So terrible. So Jeff Kane was talking about collecting in Florida. We are always down, and Dr. Anthony says, I went with Grant and Shelby when I was there in December. Almost as fun as Peru. That is an honor. Thank you. That was nice. Something.
He's just
amazing.
Being way too nice. Almost as fun as Peru. That's a bunch of bull. He
must be in a good mood
because
tonight.
Everybody that comes here, the Bodrocks, Dean, you included, the Bigs, they all talk about how Peru and South America is way better. They're like, imagine this scenery, but like every dip net, there's 15 different kinds of fish. No matter how good you are at netting, it's like, oh, makes it not seem that cool that I'm bringing you out here, guys.
So Feeder Frenzy says, I'm a Florida man myself. I'm finding trouble trying to see if it's legal to house and sell triops. P.S. Love the shrimps. I had to look these up because this was throwing me off. They're little like tadpole shrimp.
Yeah, I've wanted to get them before.
They're so cool. But they come in like a little box. I'm pretty sure I would contact, you either need to contact FWC, but usually they're really pointless. You'd want to contact, what is that plant? Agriculture. Florida's Department of Agriculture. Trouble saying that word. But contact someone there. I believe I called the offices in Tallahassee in order to get something for freshwater shrimp, which is probably what you need to do because that covers those, but they are a crustacean, so that's where I'm not really sure if that will cover it too. So I would just double check on that.
It should. I don't know if there's anything targeting that specific species.
Yeah.
But just know that you kind of have to dry out the habitat. They only live for so long, but they lay eggs in the sand, and then it gets dry, and then you flood the tanks, and they live. So I don't think the eggs are that expensive, and they're pretty easy to get. So I'm not sure if the market is quite there like the shrimp market is. All right, back to category 1.
Yes.
All right, then the third and final, kind of the ringer to this whole category would be the really variety. So you got the blue, the red Rillies with the blue bodies. You've got carbons. You've got orange. If somebody entered yellow, that would do really well just because that's a new color. Green is one of the new varieties. Those would, of course, do really well. And there's even some greens with blue bodies. I can't remember if I entered those in an international show or not. I don't even know what I entered anymore. I wish I entered more categories now that the whole house is just busted and everything's like packed and babies everywhere and they're growing way faster now than they were when the registration was open. But we're beyond that. But the green Rillies with the blue bodies, those, if you had the color down and the right pattern and the size, those, of course, would do really well. No, yeah, pun intended. Let's be honest, okay? Those would have a dominant, advantage on the rest of the shrimp just because of how many culls that Rillies produce over other shrimp. So it's going to take some work to get that on the court.
Yeah. Just remember, a lot of shrimp do change color, too, so make sure they have really good coloration and deep shells.
We're going to get to that. If people want to know about that, they got to wait a little bit. We got to get through the categories first.
I mean, Neos seem to be the ones that change the most color.
Oh, blue bolts would beg a differ.
Yeah, blue bolts are a pain. So jumping in with a question here from James Handel says, is it possible to keep shrimp in 0 kH?
Absolutely, it's possible. Just keep in mind, Neocaradina would, Neocaradina and Caradina with 0 kH still needs something though to buffer the pH. So for Neocaradinas, you could use crushed coral, you could use limestone. With Caradina, most people use aqua soil, and of course you could use peat moss. There was a product at Global, I don't think we mentioned this, a peat moss product actually for shrimp. And I was like, can I have this? Can I test this or buy this? And they're like, no, it's not for sale. And I was like,
Disappointment.
I was upset. But I don't know. I sent Crypt Keeper a picture. Maybe he bought it. I'm not sure. But I will get my hands on it and test it eventually. I just don't have time for side projects. Or the room. This got room with 900 tanks in their house.
Love it, because Matt says, I'm glad you understand I'm lazy. He said, can I borrow plane ticket money? But anyways, and Fisk also said Alex needs to get to a beach, says he hasn't been down here. In our area is no good beaches. You have to drive like an hour and 45 minutes to like a decent beach, which is Honeymoon Island and Caladesi Island, which is really nice, but it's a long drive to get there for something.
It's only 45 minutes away.
No.
No?
I drove with Amanda and it's in about an hour. Yeah, it took me forever.
I drive.
And I drive fast.
Oh, you were driving.
Yes,
okay.
I drive fast. Yeah, I had to drive.
Because you've gotten a speeding ticket.
Says the person who got off on the very high speeding ticket. But anyways, at least you got off though, right? He's prettier. He gets off there.
The cop brought me back to the cop car.
All right, category 2, right? Are we on to category 2?
Yeah, category 1. That's going to be basic. But a little tip I said I'd be giving them tonight for Neocaradina. If you're not ready for Dallas, don't worry. Summer tubbing. We have a video on how to set up our summer tubs. But there's much simpler, smaller versions of those setups. Throw your shrimp outside, your Neocaradinas I'm talking about, and you could have a colony of shrimp that you can select from and be ready for the Daytona show. So keep that in mind. Now, category 2. What are you laughing about?
That you had to specify throwing Caradina or Neos outside.
There's some tangerine tigers that are still alive. We got video of that. There's a ton of leaf litter in the tubs because we had a big storm and it blew a lot of leaves just about everywhere. So
Papa Shrimp says if they'll see us in, he'll see us in Aquashella. Nice.
I'm glad to hear.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I know you moved and everything's getting settled in, so hopefully that's all right. And can't wait to see you and catch up with you.
If you're available, I have something for the volunteers this year. If you're able to help out at the shrimp contest, we need people to sign up to help out, answer questions, and get people to vote for People's Choice during the show. Anybody that would like free entry, you must commit to 8 hours of volunteering, but you can also help before the show and after the show with setup and teardown. So you can do 4 hours one day, 4 hours the next day. You get VIP tickets, full access to the show at Aquashella, and a little free souvenir. I'll talk about that more later, but Papa Shrimp, Michelle, if you and John, your lovely husband, is watching and would like to schedule some times. Kyle, I'm not sure if I don't think you're able to make it to Dallas. But if you just decide, last minute you're going to go, just let me know and we will pencil you in. The more hands on deck, the less work Shelby has to do. So
that would be great. Teardown is the worst. And I know Michelle's helped us tremendous with that. And John, it is the most stressful. Like, I'm usually in tears by the time I'm done because he's got to help with the booth and everything else. And our big aquascapes, it takes so long. So if anyone can help out,
you need to remind me. I need a
this year we actually have something for you for helping out, which is lovely. Not just some shrimp that people get to go home with. We also get something else. So I'm really excited for that. Jeff Kane, you need to tell us when you and your wife are down in Florida. Let's see if we could maybe link up, because Grant has a beautiful rod and reel that he's been wanting to get peacocks with too. So that would be pretty cool.
That might happen though in a week or two. When Sam comes down, we might just go to South Florida with him.
But let us know. That would be pretty cool to hang out.
Doesn't mean I can't catch more. It doesn't mean I'll go down and catch
Question
any.
real quick from Elaine. Says, can Daphnia and Scuds coexist in a 10-gallon tank?
So absolutely, yes, they can. Just take in mind that Scuds, when they give birth, the females can get a craving for protein and go after Daphnia and other baby shrimp like Neocaradina and Caradina as well. So I don't really, advise for Scuds and shrimp tanks. However, if you're trying to just make a little live, food tank with some Daphnia, Scuds, and some Neocaradinas, just because you're going to feed a lot of the Scuds, more Scuds than Scuds are going to eat Neocaradinas. You know what I mean? But let's be honest, you don't want Scuds eating all of your good babies off of your green jade. So just think with that in mind.
Welcome in, Alex. Says, should I just walk to your house and join you?
It has been asked if you would make an appearance tonight, and it would definitely be a surprise appearance at that point.
Pretty easy. Surprise.
I didn't know if you're crashing at Luke LRB's house still, or what your plans were. I just letting you do your thing while you're down here in Florida. I think you've got like half citizenship at this point. You're half swamp man now, huh?
Carbon asks, have you ever started a room renovation and thought a few days at top only to find out grossly underestimated? I only ask because I'm here now. Yes, we are in that situation. We were like, all right, just, we're just going to fix a little bit of the drywall. We'll put some paint on it and it's good. He's back in there. Nope. It's been replace this, and fix this. Oh, well, we'll make this cooler if we do this. This will be more efficient if we do this. So, it's always it's crazy when you get into projects like that.
She pretty much hit the nail on the head, but all I was really wrong about was I thought that some of the actual 2x4s for the stairs would be salvageable and all we would have to replace were the particle board. But Shelby was right. The 2x4s all need to be gutted. They just soaked up all the wood with the particle board. Everything was warped and just better off just making it permanent. And like Shelby had mentioned, we've got a way to make it crazy. We've told a couple people the idea about it. We've got somebody that wants to come over and do a video on our 400th tank for the house. And I'm like, well, how about this for the idea? And they're like, love it. Let's do it next week. And I'm like, whoa, I can't make it happen that fast. I'm sorry.
We'll try.
But yeah, it's going to inquire. I think I've mentioned it already, but I don't want to talk about it anymore because the more we talk about it, the less it's probably going to happen. So It's going to happen if I don't talk about it.
Hey, the Shrimp Nut coming in with a good question. Says, will a tangerine tiger colony throw any other color or patterns?
It shouldn't.
If it's pure.
If it's a pure colony, then it shouldn't throw anything out of the norm. However, if you're getting thick bars or a red or anything like that, then they're definitely hybrids. The only off color that you could possibly get with tangerine tigers is slightly yellow. However, I've had a couple yellows appear in the tanks, and I've culled them into other tanks, and a week later they look bright orange again. So the yellow was just a fresh molt, or they're just in a glowing mood that day. I don't know what exactly it was, but they shouldn't have any other patterns. If they do, then they're tang tai, they're hybrids. Something must have gotten in their genes. Category 2.
Alex says they're anemic triops. They should be illegal. So I would definitely double check into that. There was one other thing. Oh, on top of that topic, to just throw that in, tangerine tigers are a wild, so they are not in the contest. Although it'd be cool, there's nothing really unique about the wild, so there is a lot of wild type shrimp that are not supposed to be in that tiger category. So I should have left that for the tiger category. But
Oh, that's fine. So category 2, we have the crystal shrimp. This is going to be pure red line, pure blacks, pure white lines, crystal reds, crystal blacks, snow whites, golden bees, super crystal blacks, and super crystal reds. In my opinion, the easiest and hardest at the very same time to get and enter into the contest to place is going to be the super crystals. Hardest because they're the hardest ones to breed and get, a good solid pattern out of. The easiest because if you enter them, they're so solid and the patterns are so easy to match up that as long as you have good size, you're pretty much guaranteed to place in that contest, because there's a lot more people that are breeding pure red lines. They enter those instead. The super crystals, there's just not that many of them going on there. And like myself, I know it's a lot harder to breed the super crystals than it is the pure lines and the other normal crystals. So for that reason, I would score them a few points higher than just the run-of-the-mill pure red lines. I think the shade sail just ripped.
Oh no, they keep breaking.
Another
Stupid
one down.
wind.
Or shrimp just walked into the tubs outside. One of the two. We've added a ton of tubs outside, so he's trying to figure out and remember what's outside and where it is in the pitch black right now. But he can probably see just fine since he's deaf and can't hear anything. So back to the super crystals. If you can get some Grim Reapers or some Santa hats, those are basically the extremes and full size. Enter those in the contest, you'll do just well. If you're entering in any of the other ones, you want to make sure the white is as bright as possible. Make sure there's no translucent gaps in the pigments or anything like that. Can you please turn your notifications off? That's strike 2. Strike 3, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. And I'm going to have to man this down myself. And we all know that's not going to go well either.
Yeah.
All right. So
Talk a lot.
I think that's basically it for category 2. I don't got any little tips or tricks or anything other than try and breed out some super crystals and get those to full grown size and enter those. Even in the international contest, those do really well. Then category 3 is going to be your Taiwan bees. This category is where you can take a risk and win big, or you can take a risk and totally tank. Of course, that's where I'm bringing up the blue bolts. Shelby mentioned before that the Neos were really the only ones that lose color. The blue bolts, kind of shadow pandas as well, some of them. These can definitely be moody, and they can lose all their color, or they can look even better because they're stressed out. So it's really one of those risks. Roll the dice. But almost always, if I'm planning on entering blue bolts into the contest, you got to believe they're every bit over an inch in size. And then I also enter another safe and easy group in that same category, just in case the blue bolts decide I'm not going to wear any blue that day. I'm going to go full white for the judges, and that's just not going to score you very many points. Can you go away, sir? We're trying to do a live stream over here. The dog's trying to get over.
I swear I could just do an ASMR of shrimp and him just staring at the camera, breathing into our microphone, and make money off of this dog.
So the blue bolts are the risky move. What's the safe option? The safe option is going to be you gotta give him a sign. He's gonna start pulling out cords now, Shelby. Go, boy.
Get back.
I can't yell at him. He's deaf. So unless Shelby gives him the sign, he's not going to look at me. I'm out of line of sight of him. So a safe option is going to be the solid black Extreme King Kongs. They'll have a little bit of white on the tip of their tail. Besides that, black full rest of the body. Of course, with black, there's no risk of the hue of color changing or anything like that. After about a day, even if they do go like blue or green in color from shipping, not even a day, a couple hours, they're going to turn full black and look solid again, especially if they're full-grown adults. That shouldn't be a problem at all. I like to enter the extreme red King Kongs. Red is a little bit harder of a color to breed out than black, since black is dominant, so it does score you a little bit more points. There is a little bit of risk factor involved with the reds, though. There's the whole ruby red. There's the dragon's blood. There's all different kinds of shades of red wine out there. So basically, what's the difference between a red wine and a ruby red? There's a ruby red is just a color of red wine. That they're the exact same shrimp, just the ruby reds are more on the bright red side, like a ruby, where the red wines you can have maroon, you can have dark, deep, almost black. That's the dragon's blood. If you enter those in a contest, I would say those would par and be, a close match with some of the best extreme blue bolts. However, they can be moody, and you enter your dragon's blood, and one of them looks like a ruby slipper, and it's going to get you points off if you don't have some extras in the bag. So when you send in shrimp for the contest, you can send in 3 shrimp, or you can send in a total of 5. Anything less than 3 or over 5 will get you disqualified in other contests. We try not to disqualify people if possible, but if you send more than 5 shrimp, I'm just catching a random shrimp out of the group to enter into the judging colony. So you really want to narrow it down to your best 5, send those in, and if anything happens, one gets smushed in shipping or something like that, you've got backups. So that's what I recommend shipping in. But even if you don't have 5, with good, healthy, quality stock, 3 shrimp should have no problem. If they're healthy, homebred, good quality shrimp, go to Dallas and get shipped back home. So those that are shipping in shrimp, you need to get with me and make sure that you include a return label with your shrimp, so that way we can organize and ship those back. Ruben,
a bag and rubber band as well.
Yeah, please. Ruben, if you're watching, if you're able to bring the shrimp to shipping on Monday for us, if you volunteer. If not, Michelle or John, if you're able to do that, even pop a shrimp. If I can get one of you. Is it just him? Just knocking on something?
No, that was the door.
Oh, Alex is here. All right.
So, passing when I'll answer this question, says, like people when we are out in the sun, do shrimp get suntanned and change pigment?
Absolutely.
I said I was going to answer it. Yes, they do. So we do see a big improvement when shrimp are outside and have natural sunlight. If you do have a really good light for the tank, they seem to do a lot better. We have put that to the test where I had selectively pulled out pure red lines that had sort of a black coloration to them. And I put them in a tank, and I wanted to breed them out so that I can enter into the shrimp contest with pure red lines with white legs or spider legs, which is the pigment on the leg. Hi, Alex. And we did have them in a tank that was like, say, okay, on that side, you see this one is like a little bit darker. It doesn't have much light, and we put them in there, and they did not do as well as all the other shrimp in the middle that had a lot more lighting to them. So I would say you do have to have proper lighting for anything like fish and shrimp. They'll just do a lot better, and the coloration will be better. But
all right. So
I want to swap.
We already had an appearance. You already dove into the screen?
Yeah.
All right. You want to sit in the chair on sidelines?
Yeah, I will pull up questions on. Give me your phone.
Here.
That'll be the best way.
I don't want to disembody you.
No, it's easy. It's easy.
Category 2. We're moving on to category 3 next. I got a tip for category 2 though. Were you answering a question? Did we need to?
I know I finished it.
All right.
Yeah.
So my little tip and trick and secret for category 2 is the blue bolts. If you can black them out when shipping them as fast as you possibly can, this will help them keep their color and less stressed. So basically what I was told by some of the Asian breeders was, when you get your blue bolts, put them into a bag and right away throw them into a black trash bag, so that way it blocks out all the light. If you're using breather bags, What we do is we just instantly wrap them in as much newspaper as we possibly can, as if we were basically shipping them to ourselves, and just be on the safe side. That's how we bag up and ship out all of our shrimp. And we don't ship them; we drive them to the contest. I think between me and Shelby, we have 9 groups of shrimp entered in the international contest. 9 groups, 5 shrimp in each group of the highest quality shrimp in the house.
Wow.
It's a couple $1,000s worth of shrimp. So mainly because most of them will be pregnant. I enter in the pregnant shrimp because if health is one of those, you know what I mean, factors, well, a pregnant shrimp to me is more healthy than a non-pregnant shrimp. What's wrong with that one that it's not pregnant other than if it has a gonopodium? Do shrimp have gonopodiums? Is that this? No.
No, they have a storage space. They have and they use their swimmerettes. The males have 2 swimmerettes that are slightly longer for that.
All right. Well, anyways,
they tuck the packet, and then it's in a little holding chamber on Caradina, and then like as her eggs come out to be buried, they get fertilized. Like they can't come out of her oviducts without passing through this ring-shaped packet that the male hands them.
I can't see where the cursor is. Can you just close this out so I don't see me in there?
What do you mean?
So it's just you guys.
I gotcha. All right.
And
Also,
$1.99 super chat said Shelby looked good as always. First grade. Thanks, vibes.
But besides the health factor, oh man, cracking up with you being here.
I mean, puberty, it's rough. I get it.
I'm not that young. Besides health, you also have the size factor. If she's pregnant, she's going to have a little bit more girth in her belly. It's going to give her a little bit of an advantage in that factor as well.
Same with, if you haven't given them a water change before you ship them, I always before I'd photograph them, I'd give them a water change the night before I shipped or travel with them. Because a lot of times that'll shock them into shedding.
We're
and
only
then
giving them one tip per category. You're giving away some of my tips for other categories.
Okay.
That was for the orange eye category, man.
What about something to hold on to?
That's
okay.
That's
I mean, it's
just
standard,
basic shipping.
right? Yeah.
When I talk about shipping, that'll come into play
Okay.
there. $10 to get you off the stream from the dock. I'm not going to follow. I'm not going to follow through with that. I've only seen him for less than 2 hours since he's been here. So,
and Thank you, Dr. Anthony.
I've got to have some proof of his existence, or else they're going to start thinking that I'm part of his missing. Missing party.
I got the surgery first thing in the morning too, so I'm going to be MIA for a few days again. Yeah.
Well,
but then I should be around for a week. So hopefully we can catch up.
Well, even if you're not around, you can still come by in a day or two. And I'll film you.
I'll just be all swollen
and
just lay here looking at the tanks. Honestly, if I had to die somewhere, this is up there.
It's not a bad spot.
You're just surrounded by a tower.
Mark said hi, by the way. Mark Al.
Oh yeah.
Mark will be coming over tomorrow, probably. So
cool. So many of the viewers actually kind of live in the greater Tampa area for you and I. And yeah, good people down here.
So
thanks for inviting me over, by the way.
Listen, I said hit me up whenever you're done, and I've been waiting for you to hit me up. So
no,
that's on you.
I've been mysterious. I've been out in the swamp this entire time.
I told people you become half swamp man.
Yeah, the only thing that stopped me
swamp
is
man, half mountain man.
I'm half inflammation man.
All right, so category 3, we've got the tiger category. Now, this is by far one of the easiest categories to place in, just simply because there's not an awful lot of people that enter into this category. It seems to be one of the this is category 4. I'm sorry, I said category 3. 3 is Taiwan bees. This is category 4. We're already on category 4.
Are they going with Serrata as the tiger
Serrata is a wild type, so none of the tangerine tigers, auroras, cheetahs, or the red Serrata are allowed to be entered in this contest. This is going to be orange-eyed blue tigers, orange eye black tigers, red tigers,
Crosses.
Orange eye blue tigers, the orange eye
Oh,
yellow
okay,
tigers, and stuff like that. But it's got to be
So like tie bees.
no crosses. It's got to be a tiger.
All tigers.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like my orange eyed yellow tigers, I could enter those because they are, even though they've got Serrata gene in them,
Yeah.
they're not just Serrata. So
Right.
you can use just tigers to crossbreed. Like the green apples would be not allowed because they're all Serrata gene still.
Got it.
But if you cross because you can make a solid black tiger.
Yeah.
But it's not technically the same as the Maria because I crossed Tangerine Tiger with Orange Eye Blue Tiger, and you can still get solid blacks with that cross. But
who would know?
That's the only way to enter Serrata genes into the contest. The trick is, and the easiest way to score, in my opinion, in the tiger category is going to be the black tiger with orange eyes. Mm-hmm. Enter the big ones. They can get a little rusty to them. If they are, no problem. Just make sure you have all 5 of them that are rusty. Don't enter 2 rusty ones and then 3 dark ones, and then one of the dark ones kind of looks purple, but it's not really. You're not going to get full amount of points compared to the person that's going to enter full black. Now, in my opinion, the dark horse of this category, though, has to be the orange eye blue tigers that are so deep and dark and blue, but you can still see like the faint
lines,
black tiger stripes, or faint blue, dark blue tiger stripes.
Those are cool.
But it's still like a royal blue, like the blue lights when you turn on your LED lights and you turn them blue, or like the way Brandy's name is lit up. That way, that kind of blue. To me, that in a tiger is super hard to get. 90% of the royal blue tigers that I see on the market, they're just blacks because they bred them to be so deep and dark that they're just black to most people.
Well, and then the consistency of 5 of those too.
Yeah,
it makes it tricky. Yeah.
So if someone can enter those, of course, I would be, as a judge, I'd be like, Another one would be like the red tigers with the blue body. Again, super hard to get the really dark blue that I'm talking about, and not the faint, like the blue velvet, the Neocaradina kind of blue backdrop. So if you can get the dark blue red bodies, I would also, as a judge, give those really high points as well. So that's my little tips and tricks for the tiger category. Now moving on to
answer Brandy's question.
Oh, I'm so sorry. You're supposed to read this and stop me. You're gonna read it?
Okay. Neocaradina, still recommend pool quartz sand? ?
So if you're doing like blue dreams, blue diamonds, sure, this wouldn't really be an issue or anything like that.
Yeah, quartz won't do anything, period.
Right, it's inert. However, it's not going to help with the pigments of your shrimp. So if you're looking to breed the deepest, darkest reds, greens, black rose, or any kind of like other shrimp other than blue, you're going to want as deep and dark substrate as you can. Carib Sea has a samurai soil that is kind of gray in color. It's supposed to be black, but it's on the gray side. It's still easy enough for me to see the black rose on top of that, really easy enough. And they still hold all of their color. Same with the greens and the reds and yellows and orange as well, of course. But, pool quartz sand, it's cheap, it's effective, it's inert, it's not going to mess with the shrimp. And if you're looking to breed the highest possible quality shrimp, well, those aren't going to lose color on white. So, it's worth it. Just when you're trying to breed for numbers like us, it's super hard to do that on white substrate. You're going to get a lot of culls.
Yeah.
More than
and
you would.
It's a good way to actually see your culls if you're trying to, like early on.
Yeah.
But do you use blasting sand at all?
In the garage, we have some tanks still with the black diamond blasting sand. Like our green jade, our best tank is on black diamond blasting sand. So
I just know some people that's like more common in their area to get a hold of.
It's really easy. We can go to Tractor Supply and buy it for like $9 for a 50-pound bag.
Yeah.
Eddie's got a bunch of his ponds. Like we could go to Eddie's house one day too if you wanted. Eddie's got like 40 tanks and he lives 10 minutes away.
Sold.
But we also had most of Jaden's tanks in his room were set up for Neocaradinas.
Yo,
like
yeah.
It was one of our first setups, so.
I would
Go
just
with cheap option.
40.
my tip
No,
on that
just
is go.
10 gallons at the bottom.
My tip on that is to go with the medium grit rather than the fine.
Yeah,
The
too
medium
dusty
grit looks
otherwise.
better. It's just
Fine
the
is
fine
not supposed
kind
to
of
be
looks.
wet.
The fine looks gray.
It says on the bag, do not use with water.
Yeah,
well,
it just
it's
looks gray.
Coal tar is what
Yeah.
it is. So
I think it's for blasting, so they don't want, you know what I mean.
Dr.
their product.
Anthony said, do people send in shrimp for a contest that they buy from other people?
So, this is where pride, integrity, and being a man comes into play, or woman, and being about your word. There's, of course, people that buy shrimp and try to enter them in, and you can generally tell who those people are, all right, because their shrimp
they came out
don't
of
fare
nowhere.
up nearly as well as the homebred shrimp. So take a situation like Dallas, where last year we had 110-degree weather. It was like walking around in a hairdryer outside, and then half of the facility in Dallas had no AC because the system froze up. And on the side with the shrimp contest, had AC. We were lucky enough; it wasn't that bad. But if you were a YouTuber or an aquascaper or both, you were in the hot all day and didn't have a break. So it was brutal. And, you know, some of the shrimp that were sent into the contest, you get DOAs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And any of the shrimp that technically or genuinely die at the contest are ones that I suspected were imports anyways. There's other telltale signs, like with the orange Neocaradina. When they get shipped in from Singapore, they have this opaque hue to them that other shrimp that are homebred in the United States just don't have. And you can take those exact shrimp that are imported and keep them in your tank for long enough time that they molt it off of them and they don't look the same. And all of the babies come out looking like just normal run-of-the-mill pumpkin orange Neocaradina that we breed in the States. So there's something in the water or something going on in the food that they get fed over in Singapore and Indonesia even. There's like a couple of different farms and sources of these shrimp. However, I've never seen anybody's tanks here in the stateside actually have that opaque hue on the baby shrimp or juveniles or any proof that they bred them themselves. So that's generally like a sign. But it's all an honor system. There's nothing I can really do about it. I'll say, hey, this is kind of sketchy or something like that, but I can't.
You're sketchy.
I can ask for pictures and see if they have a colony shot, and a colony shot should show several generations of different sizes of babies and stuff like that, and especially on the different types of shrimp and stuff like that. There's telltale signs of if that person actually bred them or not. So we do our best, but there's really nothing we can do.
So I mean, like, if you came to the event, though, it would not be okay to buy them off your website and just submit shrimp from you. How far removed do people need to be from a breeder or from someone else's line to call it their line for these kind of things?
If you bred the shrimp, if you got shrimp off of me, had them in your tank, and in 1 month they were pregnant, the baby's 30 days released, and then 3 months from there, you grew those shrimp up to full size, 3 months is stretch. That's as fast as anybody could possibly do it.
Powerful.
That's outside with the Neocaradina, right? And those shrimp are good to enter into the contest. Not your originals, but your very first batch of babies are yours. No matter how much work I did in the line, congratulations, you bred them. You now have your own line of shrimp because they're in your hands. What you do with them after that, I have no, authority to it whatsoever.
Airbrushing,
and I encourage people to breed them out, selective breed their own strains and stuff like that. Enter them in the contest. Establish a name for yourself and get out there because I was just talking with like Mark and koi fish. There's an issue getting fish and logistics in general. The prices are all going up. Domestic fish and breeding and getting stuff going for yourself, the market is just with fish stores in general are reaching out to me asking for shrimp because they can't get them from their supply anymore, or it's not as cheap anymore, and they're looking for different options and stuff like that. It's just going to get worse, sadly. So there's a lot of stuff going on.
There's a lot more people in the hobby too than there were, and now Caradinas are easy enough to keep that you don't need to be like a crazy wizard of experience wise to keep them. They've gotten pretty hardy, which I think is awesome.
Next question or next category, Shelby?
Oh, okay. Well, I figured you guys.
She is still helping and running the show.
Yeah, I'm over here. Yeah, they told me to kick you off.
Oh no!
Yeah. Here,
No.
Let me get through the
Grant.
categories
Kick
first.
Grant off and put me there. Brandy said, "Is Aquatic Expo a pretty big size? Still want to drive and hotel for 5 booths to look at? We will be doing a video on that, so I would just explain we're going to do a video.
The Aquatic Expo is the one in North Carolina.
Yeah, so I would just say we're going to do a whole video about that.
It's a sold out. It's a sold out show. I've never been there myself. My buddy Sabu has been telling me all about it. I've got a lot of friends that are going there. Ryan from My Wild Fish Tanks, Sam Scales, and Harley from PNW Customs. They'll all be within throwing reach. So I'll have water balloons, and it will be a fiasco. And I'll fill the water balloons up with ice cream, though, so they can't be upset. I just got to get the soft serve.
Man, I was going to say, if you pelted someone with a balloon full of ice cream.
Soft serve?
Soft serves, yeah.
With a water balloon?
All right, let's move on.
You got ideas.
Weirdo.
All right.
Lady R said, "Hey there, Alex and Grant."
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
Nobody would be mad.
No, you'd just be happy. You'd be like, my club. Oh,
the booth. Everything's got Frosty on it. It's all gonna sell,
there's not. I think is it Frosty or McFlurry? One of them doesn't have any dairy, and you're like, what?
We're gonna have to look.
Yeah,
if Frosty doesn't have dairy, I'm gonna be upset.
Let me Google that one. If it is the Frosty or the
Brandon
McFlurry.
just now to realize that you and me swapped. Lady R asked how your trip is going, Alex.
Sucks. Next. No, it's been good. It's been very busy because I've been on a timetable of like, got to do this, got to do that. Then I was running out of time, got to go up and see LRB, but I've had these medical appointments in between. So it's like kind of a trip down here for fun, but I've had to have 2 pre-op things and had to make like a mold for my mouth. And then tomorrow morning, first thing, I can't be up late because they're doing 10 implants and they're breaking my jaw in 2 spots. So to reset everything. So it's going to be pretty gnarly. Not looking forward to it. But I have I'll be here through I leave on the 9th in the evening. So, I mean, I've got a little bit of time to hopefully
I just got a golf tournament on the 7th. I got a long distance drive to win, but other than that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Lady R coming in with another question says, favorite substrate for summer tubbing? Open for Alex to answer too.
Leaves. For tubbing, I usually put gravel. I like lava rock because it gets built it gets cycled very quickly. I'll throw some stuff from my indoor aquariums in, but you have to remember if there's a big temperature change, the bacteria is going to be slightly different. The bio, the mini ecosystem you have, some's going to die, some's going to flourish, whatever. So I always take some from inside, mix that with some lava rock if I've got it. And then, sand is best in my mind to see the fish usually, unless they're so bright silver reflective fish. But then after that, I like leaves, because leaves with floating plants, the birds and the raccoons and stuff don't see them as much, and then the babies have places to hide and stuff. So that's my pick. But you do things more like production for resale and stuff, whereas I'm kind of just a hobbyist.
So I'm trying to use all of our tubs for the most part for plants. So the ones that are set up for plants, we use aqua soil, and I know aqua soil is expensive, so I'll mix it up with a little bit of gravel or some type of sand or anything else that I have extra left over from one of the aquascapes or anything like that. we'll go to one of the when we go to the Dallas show, anybody that has leftover aquascape, even if it's sand or gravel, I'll take that and mix it in with the aqua soil, because the aqua soil is going to release those micronutrients that the plants will pull from constantly. And to me, it's enough nutrients that feeds the plants well enough, and it doesn't really feed the algae. So I'm a big fan of using those and just like feeding small amounts to we've got rice fish, endlers, guppies, mollies, swords.
Oh, okay.
And koi outside. And then with the shrimp, though, I prefer the samurai soil because it's super easy to clean if I ever have to go that route, and I'd be able to pick the babies off of that and not have to worry about anything with that. So that's favorite.
Yeah.
I can get if price was the key, I would use black diamond blasting sand. That's what we're using at Eddie's house.
Yeah, and I use THT sand, which is also for pool filter or for sanding, and it's pretty cheap. Usually, Ace Hardware or True Value, I've noticed it's way cheaper than Home Depot. Home Depot wanted like $30 now for a 50-pound bag. It used to be 10. And now I can still get it special order at like True Value or Ace, one of those kind of independent chains or franchises for like I think it's $15.99 now for the white sand, and it's kind of a medium to fine grain, but it's a nice kind of typical beach sand, no dust in it.
We just paid like $5 or $7 a bag for the play sand, Dad.
Play sand.
Yeah,
that gets
it's
a little
good.
Dusty sometimes.
Yeah, but I'm not really worried about it mixing it in, and then it'll just settle. Like,
yeah,
it takes like 15 minutes. You can wash it out.
Yeah, as long as you're not like aquascaping or something. It should be fine.
It's just a good cheap option.
So the Frosty, it does not have milk in it. It has a dairy fat extract of 4%, meaning that it is legally, to be an ice cream in the U.S., it needs 10% of a milk in it or dairy fat. So it doesn't even meet the definition of it. So I was wrong. It does have dairy in it, but it has just the extracted fat at 4%.
It's delicious, though.
It tastes.
I had a Frosty yesterday.
So that's probably all I'll be able to eat for like the next month. It said liquid diet, and I was like, oh, okay, I can make smoothies. Mashed potatoes, and they were like, no, liquid for 4 weeks.
Where did Crypt Keeper go? Did he ever come up? Is he not on or available tonight?
Who's in here?
Can you message him and ask him? Maybe he's just like sleeping, and he doesn't know.
Sleeping.
All right,
sleeping, and he doesn't.
Back to the categories. Category 5. This is going to be your hybrid category. And like I mentioned before, this could be pretty much the toughest category out of all of them because a lot of people do enter this category just because simply anything that's basically a hybrid is going to follow under this category.
So fancy tigers,
galaxy pintos, the boas.
Oh,
these generally dominate. There is one exception to everything, but that's the next category. But the boas and the galaxy pintos generally dominate. However, I think our last winner was a fancy red tiger. I can't recall now, but it's usually a close race between fancy red tigers and the boas on who's going to win that category. To me, it's easier to breed out a really nice boa colony and get 5 of them to look the same, even if it's not the highest quality of boa. Generally speaking, 5 boas is easier to pick out than any 5 fancy red tigers that are going to look identical like twins. Just because with fancy red tigers, you've got different headgear, different spots on the head, different striping, different spots on the body, different color hues. And with all of those different factors into play, it's just harder to get the fancy red tigers, to all match up like the boas do.
I think it's like some of the like yellow and purple boas and stuff like some of those. If someone could get a consistency with those, that would be something to compete against.
Yeah,
sure.
And we've had some of those in the last few contests, so they're they're definitely going to be part of the competition. If you're thinking about entering, something like Yellow King Kong, those sadly will not place nearly as well anymore. We used to have the rule set up to where it was the brightest color, the size, do they all match up, are they healthy?
But
All right, that's going to be basically the only thing. The blue dragons would be in this category as well, the calcios and whatnot. But generally speaking, to me, that's a much easier shrimp to breed than the fancy red tigers or the galaxies or anything like that. Why don't they expand the hybrids then? So I was actually just about to tap into this. So we have grown the contest since me and Shelby have started organizing it from 16 entries to 64 in the last show. We're kind of looking to get 10 entries in each category, and we're almost there. But like I mentioned, a lot of them get more love than others. But it's more in the Neo category. We're almost like right at where I want to be with the hybrids. If we can get more entries, me and Eric have already talked about giving the fancy tigers their own category, and I think we should just break it up as in fancy tigers go in this category, and then with tibies, and then pintos and boas would go in the tibi category. It just sucks that the German pintos are still competing with the Galaxy pintos. I don't think we have enough entries
or things like
across the board to make them all three. The other problem is our judges. For this contest, we have Luis Clemente, Eric Lucas, and Joe Thiessen. Those are our judges. And some of them have booths at the show, and they don't have an endless amount of time in the morning to go through and judge more shrimp, more categories, and stuff like that. Yeah. So we're growing the contest out, but we're trying to do it organically to the point where, all right, this is feasible, we can do this, and it's not just going to get 3 entries in one category, and then we're just giving a first place and third place, and there's no actual competition.
Participation, right.
If that does happen, say, for like the tiger category, though, then we do make sure that you score at least over a 75 or 70. Maybe it's a B in order to place and actually get recognition. Because if you just enter some duds in the contest, and we're not going to award those anything.
So
in the top.
Is this rubric that you guys grade by? Is it available for the public to see?
So we've actually made a video. If Shelby could pull that one up and drop it in the comments for us.
Thanks, Shelby.
We went through all of the categories and each of the judges' sheets for each category. Crypt Keeper's not here, but I think we should do the Crypt Keeper question of the week anyways. It was supposed to be oh my God, why did it just slip out of my brain? Why did I space that?
I don't know. You have a few things on your mind.
Oh, man. Give me my phone back. I'll just pull it up. I was just about to say it, too. And then as soon as I was, like, getting all excited about it. All right. That's what we were talking about, the judges' seats. So if we are entered in the contest and we would like to know our scores for the shrimp, will I be able to figure that out and whatnot? And the answer is yes, Crypt Keeper. Thanks for asking that question. But yeah, we do share the judges' score sheets. It doesn't show which judge actually scored your shrimp and how they scored it, but you do get all 3 of the judges' scores. So that way, all right, I need to
got to bribe all the judges.
Yeah, and there's none of that going on. But we basically can show you, do you need to work on uniformity? Or your shrimp too small? Was your color not there? Did you maybe enter shrimp in that weren't as hard as one of the other shrimp? So you could always reach out to one of the judges as well. They're all really nice and should be able to give you great feedback. And then myself, I can't tell you what shrimp to enter or something like that, but you can say, hey, Do you think this is a good group? And I can give you my opinion on what you should change or whatnot. So,
Thank you, vibes.
Oh, thank- I'm trying to read it. I'm this far away,
it's
and I
hard to
literally
see.
cannot see it. So I got this close and saw what it was. And then, well,
And we
thank
are-
you, Vibes, for the $1.99 super chat. It was
Yes.
a lot of fun on Saturday on your channel. If you want to know more about me and Shelby, you can go check out the Vibe on Vibe Streams.
See how awful Shelby couldn't hear anything. And then $1.09 super chat from I Have Chickens in My Backyard Aquatics.
Whoa.
Thank you.
Is that somebody who changed their name or somebody I just don't encounter?
I don't know. I think it's a new person.
I like that name.
And then-
They've been around. I've seen them a couple times.
All right.
Yeah.
It's a great name.
Yeah, it's a great name.
All right.
Chickens eat duckweed, you know.
So category 5, my tip is basically enter some really nice Galaxy Pintos. Make sure they all match up. All the dots, all the stripes are all in the right place. And then, double up on the newspaper and make sure you put as much water in the bag as you possibly can. So that way they have, any issues with one loss or something like that. There's a more water volume to absorb up and spread out that ammonia, and we can take care of that once we get the bags into the tanks.
Do you know what the water conditions will be at the location? Is it RO or?
So yeah, we are lucky enough that we do get the RO water. I'll test the tap water out. Chances are the tap water is probably not going to be on point, and
No.
we'll mix up the minerals.
Yeah.
But we get RO water. We set up the shrimp contest early Thursday before all of the saltwater people get there and set up anything. So we get basically first access to the RO water before the filters even get a little bit dirty or anything like that, and the TDS starts to creep up.
Yeah.
And then I basically got it down. I mix my salts all in the trash can here. I know the salt level is going to raise a little bit as it dissolves in the tanks overnight. So I basically mix all of the water to 120 total dissolved solids for the Caradina and 180 for Neocaradina. And then the next day, generally speaking, the water parameters are between 130 and 150 for Caradina and right around 200 for the Neocaradina. And generally speaking, that's average for most of the shrimp keepers here in the United States.
Now, I have a question. Could you add a botanical leaf to your tank, or is it set when you bring the thing, it's going to be in this tank with this set? Exactly.
So I want to add a botanical, because that could affect water quality.
Sure.
Because there's such little small tanks that we
Yeah.
set up at the show. I would include maybe a little piece of moss,
Yeah.
or even a sprig of guppy grass or something like that.
But is it up to them?
Yeah.
They can put whatever.
Yeah, there will be absolutely nothing in the tank when you send them in. We run filtration at the nighttime. We take them out, though, before the judges because 90% of the shrimp want to hide at the shows because it's just a tank and a light. And the only place to hide at that point is the filter, or the best place to hide is going to be the filter. So they go to the filter. So for that reason, we take them out of the tanks. The judges are armed with little tiny measuring sticks that they can poke around in the tank and get the shrimp to turn around. And
Little calipers.
it's actually, they look like little tiny mallets.
Oh.
And they have little dashes on them that are 1 centimeter. So the little mallet is about 3 centimeters at the end. And they just play.
Magic shrimp measuring sticks. Wow.
So category 6, this is going to be our, sorry.
Interrupting you real quick. I can't pull it up on your phone either. Stephen P. gifted 5 memberships.
Woo-wee.
Thank you so much, Stephen P.
Thank you,
So-
Steven.
We got Brandon, Nancy, Amisa, Coro, and Nate the Shrimp Nut. Welcome to the
You
team.
want a Dr. Pepper?
Do you have one?
Shelby, Dr.
yes.
Pepper, stack,
Yeah, we love
please.
and then remind them about
Holy
the stickers.
Dude, I have cases of Dr. Pepper for you because I bought a
Because I
case.
keep coming down.
I bought a case and you're just showing up with Dr. Pepper, and I'm like, dude, I bought these for you.
Oh,
And
man.
then they've been in my Lazy Susan for so long that I forgot that I bought a case, and I bought another case. And when I went to go put it away, I was like, there is already a case here.
It's like last
And
year's
the-
Super Bowl cans or something.
No, I mean they're
Thank you
still
so
good
much.
because
It's even cold.
you haven't even been here that. It wasn't even that long ago that you weren't here the other
It's
time.
true, I was
And
here,
from
like-
your first time being here, Eddie actually drank all of those.
Yeah.
So
Thank you
they
very
are-
much.
They are fresh.
And Dr. Pepper is paying for all of this that you see. So. Man, I've written
I
them so
wish.
many times being like, man, send me a CO2 tank and that syrup stuff you guys use at restaurants, and I will run my tanks off. You know, like I'll put CO2 in the tanks, and I'll have like a little draft Dr. Pepper thing, and I'll make the CO2 canister look like a Dr. Pepper can or bottle. And like I wrote a little proposal, I photoshopped a thing, and they're like, do you need more than $100,000 for this idea? And I was like, what? No. And then they were like, well, then it goes to public relations. And then they gave me some email and no one ever responds.
Oh, you
So
should've
I'm
been
going to be like, yeah, I need
Yeah.
more than $100,000 for this.
Yeah, it's gonna
So.
be advertisement for you. Check this out.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm going to do my race car.
Can you read Guppy Beast so I'm not squinting? No, man.
He's
Can't-
asking if Alex would do his logo.
Yeah. Just email me, alexanderjwilliamson@gmail.com. It's just my full name, no dots or periods or anything. Alexander, J as in jet, Williamson. alexanderjwilliamson@gmail.com. Thanks, Shelby.
I like how Lucas though has artwork from you before lightning and after lightning.
I know. Yeah, that first one, I mean, we started the idea of that 6 years ago, so it's been a while. Yeah. It's been a process. And he's a graphic designer himself, too. That's what he went to school for.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
But like me, have I done anything like that on my channel? No. I've done it for other channels, though. But yeah. And I like to barter, too, so.
Lady R said favorite summer tubbing fish. Alex can answer as well.
So for me, it's gonna be the rice fish.
Yeah, right. Medakas. So there's so many variations now that, like the blue Miyuki ones.
I was trying to decide which rice fish, and I was just like the rice fish because
Yeah.
I was like, I can't pick right now. I want the tri-spot,
The red caps are beautiful.
the red caps.
The
I want
lame, like the ones that have like kind of gold with silver and white, like they look like a koi, and then they've got the silver scales over them and long fins. Someone in the San Francisco area has those, and I haven't seen anyone else in the U.S. with them. But man, I want to get some. Yeah,
She just does this when she laughs.
she's just like dying over there. I'm like,
If someone says African Orchid dude said the judges are armed? Question mark. What did you say?
Yeah, I said the judges are armed with a little mallet to poke her out at the shrimp. I know what I'm saying. All right.
Oh my God.
yeah,
It's
well,
just-
Florida did just change their laws. I don't know about up in the Carolinas.
Oh, Texas is you're good to go. In
Texas, you can go everyone. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Can I
We
bring
arm
my
our
bazooka?
shrimp with AKs in
Yeah.
Texas. You
Each-
trying to take shrimp from our booth when we walk away? You're gonna find out. Pew 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 pew.
Man, it's been stormy since I've been down here. Like 2 nights we got good. I mean,
It-
crazy wind.
It's just the beginning of our
Wet
rain season,
season,
and
yeah.
it was so dry that we're just so overdue.
What
Yeah,
did you say? Wedding season?
Rainy season.
wedding season.
I'm hearing things.
The
hears what she
wettening.
loves. All right. So, category 6. It's over an hour and 20 minutes, and I haven't even gotten to like half of the topic for the night. So, category 6, like I mentioned, there is one exception for all the hybrids, or basically category 5.
Can I bring my bamboo shrimp?
But no. Category 6, all bamboo shrimp are wild caught. No wild caught shrimp.
That's true. Yeah.
So category 6 is going to be all of the hybridized orange-eyed shrimp. So like before,
Just orange eyes?
yes, just orange-eyed. So we have orange-eyed blue steel.
Yellow eyes too. I mean, that counts.
Yeah, orange-eyed. It's actually eye morphs.
Okay.
I messed up. It's eye morphs. So
Yeah.
it's got
Yeah.
the hollow eye. You've got your red eye.
Wow.
Believe it or not, I've got some Tai B, which are like Black King Kongs with a little purplish hue
Yeah.
to them, but they have purple eyes, still black pupils, but the outside is eye. Like I could enter those technically in that category, but it's like they're not going to score as well as what's with all of this notifications going on today. That's strike 3. You're out of here.
Yeah.
You took Shelby's 2 strikes. I can't have co-hosts on here anymore.
You got to get through this, man. Actually, I do have to go. I just wanted to come by and say I love you guys and drop in and just, like get some attention.
Well, you
from
made
my
Brandon
Get some sleep
happy.
before your surgery,
Yeah, I got to
so-
get up like first thing in the morning. But I want to tell everybody I love them and tell you guys that I love you guys, and I'll catch up with you later in the week.
Well,
So
best of luck, man.
and I'm
feel
getting
free
it from
to
Dr. Pepper.
feel free to call me when
Freeloader.
you're all
Okay,
messed up
thanks.
after the thing and you just
Yeah.
want to ramble on about life.
Oh, yeah,
and-
maybe we'll
and,
do a
like,
live stream.
research or something like that. You let me know.
They're giving me ketamine and Versed as my IV for the surgery, and it's supposed to be like I'm not allowed to drive. They're like, you're gonna be real out of it for a while, and I am.
Those are always the best conversations.
I know.
I've seen people leaving the dentist. So
Yeah, like what's
You
that
let me
famous
know.
clip?
I may or may not be recording.
Whatever. David visits the dentist or whatever. That famous the
something
kid.
like that,
Is
yeah.
this real life?
Yeah.
That's gonna be me tomorrow.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Call me. I know this.
All
I'm
right.
aware.
All right. Well, I wish you the best of luck.
You can
Much
even
love,
come
everybody.
over and you can just sit here and talk about the tanks.
I may. It's
We
very-
may or may not be live.
It is very chill.
Is that recording?
Yeah.
We've been recording for 3 hours.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Ooh, so many things to see. I'll do that later.
No problem, man. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Alex. Yeah. it's to get
I
that
trapped
out.
Shrimp out of here. He's
And you're good. He fell asleep, so you're good to scooch on out.
all right. So seriously though, what category would Sulu SA types go in? All Sulu SA shrimp are a wild type shrimp, so sadly, they cannot go into the contest. I know there's the blue ghost morphs and stuff like that. It's still technically a wild type shrimp because there was no selective breeding going on. There was no crossbreeding or anything like that involved. It was simply a genetic mutation, and technically that could be possible in the wild. So just because somebody got lucky, it happened in their tanks, or somebody got lucky and they caught the wild type mutation. But either way, Sulu SA shrimp, sadly. And I said the same thing when I was like doing my very first contest. I was like, I got the Sulu SA shrimp. Nobody else really had them at the time except for like 5 people. Shelby had the Sulu SA shrimp. I wanted to say they were mine. But yeah, no, not yet. Maybe one day we'll have like a wild type, breeders showcase show or something like that. But at the moment, it's not really a contest to enter wild type shrimp. There's no breeding skill, selective designer, or anything like that involved. But back to category 6, hollow eye, orange eyed, silver eye. Those are going to be like mainly the ones that are entered. There are different grades and quality of the orange eye gene. Like Alex had mentioned, there's yellows, there's the orange eye, there's like golden eye. Pretty much any color of yellow, gold, or orange you could have in the eye color. For the most part, the orange eye blue tigers all have like that same shade of yellow color, or orange. But when you start crossbreeding them and hybridizing them, that's when you get some of the crazier looking colors. So we crossed our orange eye black tigers with some hollow eyes, and I'm getting some eyes, and they look like organic, freshly farmed egg yolk. Like their eyes are that golden, like, I don't know, bright orange that you would see on a fresh farmed organic egg. Then the silver eyes, this could be actually a lack of nutrient. If they're lacking any chitin or anything like that, this could lead to a silver eye or lacking color of the orange, basically. There have been known as a few breeders that have been pulling the molts out of the tank and just feeding them like spirulina and algae that doesn't really have any kind of chitin or chitin involved, and that will have them turn the eye color turn silver. So For this category, the orange-eyed red devils are pretty much like the showstoppers, not just for like people's choice, but also in the judges' color. It's easy to get all the same orange-eyed red devils. The riskier move would be like the orange-eyed blue steels, just kind of like blue bolts. This color can kind of change from like blue to green to white. So it's a little bit riskier. But if you had some extreme blue bolts or extreme green blue bolts with some really deep eyes, those, of course, are going to be, the dark horse of the category. I think those would give the orange-eyed red devils a run for the money. Orange-eyed yellow King Kongs, these are going to be the easiest shrimp for you to possibly breed for this category. However, the judges know that, and because of that, they're not going to have nearly as high of a score as a red devil. There's that one exception, though. There are some orange-eyed yellow King Kongs that are just so yellow. They're like deep, dark, bright orange. And if you had 5 of those that are super, super big, like ginormous in size, those could actually kind of steal the show and, beat out some smaller orange-eyed red devils or something like that. So something to take into consideration. It's not a very popular group. It's our newest category that we entered into the contest. And for that reason, we do get a low amount of entries, similar to the tiger shrimp. Now, a lot of people get this category messed up with the tiger shrimp because there are orange eyes in the tigers. So the tiger group would be for the pure orange-eyed shrimp, where the hybrid group would be for the crosses and whatnot. So the black devils, even though they are a hybrid, they still look like a tiger shrimp. So most of the judges are just going to be like, this guy entered him in the wrong category, or because it's like pretty much easier to breed those out than the yellow King Kongs, because the yellow King Kongs will throw like clear culls and stuff like that. You'll actually get lower points entering those shrimp into the hybrid category. So that's that.
Okay,
Do the giveaway
fun.
in 15 minutes. Hashtag shrimp. The shrimp that I'm giving away, I'll talk about in a little bit, but you guys can just get that hashtag going. First off, I want to talk about shipping your shrimp into the contest and what that entitles and stuff like
Can
that.
you answer this first?
Or picking up shrimp as well.
So we're not too far behind. Jamie said, what are some good crossbreed choices for good dragons? Nothing too fancy. I'm in Canada, remember.
All right, so choices for good dragons. I got to be honest. You got to specify what kind of dragons you're talking about. But both of the dragons that I know of, you can't really cross to get them. So let's talk about the easier one, the red wine, the ruby red blood, red King Kong, red dragons. Those are where the red is so deep and dark that it's actually black. Those are pure red King Kongs. So unless you have pure line of Taiwan bees, you're not going to be able to get those. Then the other ones are the blue dragon's bloods. These are calcio. So unless you have black calcios or reds and blues, or reds and blacks, or actual blue calcios, you won't be able to get the blue dragons. There's no exact cross. I've actually just recently tried to reverse engineer the shrimp, and I'm not getting the results that I thought I would get if they were a cross. So I'm leaning more towards them being a genetic mutation, and you won't be able to replicate that unless you win like a mini lottery, basically. Maybe one day I'll grow the nerve to try and talk to Uwe and figure out what goes into the dragon's bloods, but there's just some like secretism that, for whatever reason, even after the shrimp have been mass produced, the breeders just don't want to give up their recipe. Ellen took it to the grave on how to breed yellow King Kongs. I can tell you how I made shrimp similar to yellow King Kongs, but until I have DNA proof, I can't tell you whether or not it's the way to do it, or a way of making a copy. Counterfeit shrimp. Can you imagine that?
Laura's coming in. Do you have any info on Elo?
It's just ELO is all I'm going to call it. It's the green fungus. So we are lucky enough that we don't have any issue with the ELO in our tanks. We don't import shrimp, and the only real way that most people get this disease or fungus is by adding shrimp that have this disease already into the tank. Now, just like some of the other diseases, shrimp can be carriers and not show any effect or anything like that. So it is really tricky. You just kind of really gotta trust who you're buying from, and it's risky because I know there's people out there that buy from one source of shrimp and they think that they're all bred and sourced, but I know they're 90% of them are imported, and they just don't care too much about breeding them. They sell far more shrimp than they breed, but their quality they get away with just not having to list them as imports.
Oh.
So it's just kind of assumed that they're all bred by the seller.
I did miss it. Thank you so much, Jeff Kane, again with the memberships. Gifted 10 of the memberships. So welcome in. Got a lot of you here with Richard, Craig, Spaghetti Nona, Fisk, CP, Freaky Fish Lady, Bed Aquatics. I have chickens in my backyard aquatics. We got James and Benjamin Peters. So welcome. Thank you so much, Jeff Kane, for donating those memberships and giving everyone a chance to get our lovely discount for our website and these stickers. Make sure to email us at thegardenofeater@gmail.com. So thank you for that, Jeff.
I'm spacing tonight. What was I talking about?
No idea.
I'm gone. I don't have notes or anything to write down.
So thank you again. Nathan says, I have a bunch of black and white cichlid sand. What color shrimp should you say would you say to stay away from when it comes to showing max color?
Everything but blue diamonds or blue dreams pretty much is going to lose a little bit of color on that substrate. Yellows might not look that bad, but blacks might hold a little bit of color. There's still some of them are going to lose color with that white substrate.
And be careful which cichlid sand you are using. Some of those do affect the pH and do bring it up quite high to about 8 pH and keep it consistent. Depends. There is a couple of them that do that. But black and white, 100%, like your yellows are going to be clear. You're never going to be able to get those. I would say some greens are okay to do. But that would be as far as you want to make sure you have the coolest greens ever, because the dark ones will stay dark where the light ones, but then you could be calling out some nice shrimp that would look good on black substrate. But yeah, that one's a blue. Blue is the best one to go with. What is that noise?
I don't know. We got a truck on. I'm all thrown off trying to remember what I was just talking about. So on to the next question.
ELO, I think.
The ELO. So thank you. I had a place to go with this. So the seller that I know that imports them, I'm not trying to bash them or anything like that.
Oh,
She's sleeping again.
Yeah.
Dreaming. It's weird because it sounds like when a fire alarm is going off. Now it doesn't. Now she sounds like a little pupper. So the breeder that imports the Neos, I don't think he has a lot of issues with the ELO because there's this medicated food. He spends a lot of money on the medicated food. I don't know what it is exactly. You could email me and I could reach out to the person. I don't really want to put the person on blast on line like that. They're a good person in the hobby, so I could find that information out for you. But for us personally, I've only had to deal with it when we imported shrimp for Joe's Aqua. Now I say for Joe's Aqua because for 3 months I dedicated 20 of our tanks to bring in his shrimp and ship them out to his customers. And I was supposed to quarantine for 2 weeks, yada, 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 before I shipped out and stuff like that. That was just simply not the case. He was trying to have me ship out these shrimp with issues and stuff like that. However, the treatment for ELO was simple. It was any of the infected shrimp, you cull them, throw them away. There's nothing you can really do for those shrimp. You can try and save them, but more than likely, you're just going to cross-contaminate something else or get it into a different system. It's best to just remove them and not have to deal with the infected ones. And once you've removed the infected ones, do a 90% water change, fill the tank up with clean water, and then dose the tank with Paragard. And then I would continue to dose the tank with Paragard. I haven't read the bottle in ages. I'm not sure what it would be like every 3 days or every week with your water change, but I would continue to do it for a while. You are going to lose some shrimp doing this. You might lose some beneficial bacteria in your filter as well, but it's better than having the ELO fungus and worrying about your reputation. So you want to definitely get ahead of it and figure it out the best you can. So the Paragard will work. If you need the medicine, reach out to us. I can figure out what it is.
So Chia Pet came in and said, "Do crayfish count as large shrimp, or do shrimp people shun them?" We love crayfish.
They don't count, but they're not shunned away. We've bred the alien eye, the dwarf blues, the ghost Clark eye. I'm sure we've done other ones, the marbled and stuff like that. We also breed a native one here in the tubs or the hot tub for our terrapins and stuff like that. But they're just not nearly as popular as the shrimp are for online sales. I think a lot of people are worried that they're going to pop the bags or something like that, and they don't really want to pay more than $5. Where the pet stores will get like $15 for like an electric blue crayfish. That's just not the same market online for them. So they don't get as much popularity as the shrimp. Easy to breed and take care of. They're definitely cool.
There are some new people in chat. Make sure you do #shrimp. We still have yet to do the giveaway. We will explain that in a second.
It's going to be like 4 minutes. So
yeah.
I got to cover shipping for the shrimp first. We answered questions. Should I talk about shipping real quick? Or you got a question for me?
No, you could talk about shipping. Go.
All right. So shipping your shrimp in, there's a couple tips that I've already mentioned, but I want to emphasize on those real quickly. So getting your shrimp in a bag, a breather bag is preferred. The poly bags, you can get really thick poly bags. So I'm not going to be like, you're doing it wrong. If you're going to go with thick poly bags, you're going to double up on them because you're worried about a bag popping. To each their own. If that's what you're worried about, there's nothing wrong with doing 1 part water, 2 parts air. You can use oxygen if you want to increase your chances. Pure oxygen, gas up the bag, inflate it, tie it off, rubber band that, put it into another bag. We personally use breather bags. I put as much water into a 7 by 14 inch breather bag as I possibly can. It's generally like 2 cups full of water or 2.5 cups. Make sure you have no air bubble at all with the breather bag. That way the bags themselves can breathe. They let oxygen in, carbon monoxide out of the bag, and then you wrap those bags in a little bit of newspaper. This is going to keep the light out, whether you're doing breather bags or double bagging a poly bag. I strongly recommend boxing up the shrimp or bagging them and getting them to the side as quickly as possible. That way it'll help them ensure their color. And then again, the most water volume, this is going to help keep your shrimp in pristine condition. The less stress on the shrimp, the better they're going to color up and show, and the less likely you'll have any dead on arrival or any losses at the show. The other thing is, as Shelby had mentioned, a little piece of mesh or something for them to hold on to the bag. I'd also talked with Alex about having a little piece of plant or something in the tank as well for them to hold on to, or something like that for them at the show. What I would personally do is I would bag the shrimp up with mesh in the bag and not plants. The plants are going to absorb a little bit of oxygen, where the mesh isn't going to affect anything at all whatsoever, and give them something that they can hold on to, rather than holding on to their persons in the bag and stressing them out, because the stronger one will hold on to a weak one until it's just a holding post at that point. And then, as well as mesh in the bag, I would put a like little baggie of moss or a sprig of guppy grass or something like that with the box, and the organizers, me and Shelby, will know, hey, we should throw that in with your shrimp. Once they're actually in the tank, it'll look better, and they'll acclimate with it just fine. And then on top of the mesh in the bag, we add in a little bit of Purigin, or the organic R, which is the Brightwell version of it. We use the organic R. It works just a little bit better, but Purigin, it's easy, accessible. You can go to most Petcos, and they have it, as well as the bag that you can put in your tanks. But we just sprinkle in a tiny, tiny bit of the Purigin into the bag, and this will just keep the water nice and polished, keep it nice and pristine. And even if those little balls go into the tank, they're gonna like disappear with the substrate, and be out of the way and not affect the shrimp whatsoever. So it's just a little benefit. So now, the moment you've all been waiting for, let's give away some shrimp. So hashtag shrimp if you haven't done it already. Get it while you can. But the shrimp that we're going to be giving away are going to be some tang thai. These aren't just any ordinary tang thai, though. These are going to be some from my tanks where they're like 8 to 12 generations of selective breeding and whatnot. There's not going to be any crazy patterns or anything like that right off the rip, but all the genes will be there. So anybody that's thinking, oh, maybe one day I'd like to get involved and enter in the shrimp contest, well, these will be a good little fun tester. They could be a side project. They could be a breeding project. Whatever you want to do, pretty much these shrimp can help you out and meet that goal. As long as it's not to breed like pure crystals, then this is not the shrimp for you. But they do have a lot of potential in this line themselves. It's where I make my greens. It's where I make my yellows with black, yellows with the white, the yellow galaxies, basically. My black King Kongs with the blue stripes down the backs, the Nanashi. So many galaxy pintos, so many different types of shrimp come out of these phenotypes. You can basically cross these with some Taiwan bees and get some pintos within a generation or two. So definitely a good little starter shrimp, and they are hardy as can be. And once you get them breeding, they're very close with tangerine tigers and mass production. So they breed like rabbits. All right, are we ready for this giveaway? You're typing up a whole story over there.
Yeah. I'm answering questions because you talk too much and can't get to all the questions.
Well, there's a lot of talk.
All right. Make sure you enter hashtag shrimp. We're about to do it. Give it.
It is USA
let's
only.
do.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Why don't we just wait 2 minutes? So it's at the
what are you
hour
gonna talk
and
about
50
for
minutes.
I don't got
We got
nothing to
plenty
talk about
to talk about.
Sorry.
Just we got plenty to talk about. There was other questions. Okay, Fiskgas, black versus white substrate.
So always black, if that's the question. White, though, does work with the Blue Dreams, Blue Diamonds, and it's easier to see them, but I would prefer black in all of our tanks if we had to go with one color or the other. Next question. Let's see how many we can do.
I like it. Says Mia Savage put LRB's yellows onto green gravel. I like it. We always never talk about all the other colors you could do. You could do other colors if they're darker.
You can put them on white gravel and it'll turn green with time too. So you just beat it to
it. All right.
Watch you turn a different shade of green now.
I don't know.
You took my phone.
Christy said easy reddish plants for shrimp / nano tank.
So the easiest reddish plants that I would have to recommend is the Loguidia repens. It grows like crazy. It's got a red underlaying or pinkish underbody to the leaf. It's still green on top, but it's easy. You don't need CO2. You don't need fertilizer. Literally all we do for it in our discus tank, which by the way is 83-degree temperature. A lot of people will have difficulty with plants in the 80s or higher, but this plant does well in 70-degree water or in the lower 80s as well. So it's kind of cool. My other one is the Rotala colata. That is one of my favorite little tiny pink plants. Grows really easy with no CO2, but It does require some trimming to keep it nice and compact. Not as easy as the Liquidia Repens, but not as pink either. So some give and take.
Bruce asked Shelby, how is the Achilles fish collection going? So I've really stopped getting more fish, and I have not bred any of the Notheobranchus. I decided to give up on that for now. I decided the tanks that I have them in are not the appropriate tanks. The 10 gallons seem a little too large. So once you're annoying me.
Look how tiny I am now.
So once we have a lot of moving of tanks to do, but once we do, I will be building a specific rack for my Achilles fish. So the Notheobranchus will have their own, and any annual Achilles fish will have their own. Non-annual Achilles fish will have their own section. My Firemouth Achilles are breeding. I'm actually going to be putting some of those up on the website soon, and I believe that's it. I'm actually doing a lot better with like my good days and things like that are a little bit easier. But Achilles fish are put on hold, and as much as I want to have them, I want to do them the right way and not waste my time with the tanks. No. Nope. Okay, moving on. I'm just kidding. Of course.
The good thing though is Jaden's room will be getting tanks soon, but the tanks will be coming from the rack over here by the front door, and all of the tanks in the bedroom, all of them but 2 10 gallons will be going onto Jaden's new room setup. So once that happens, our room will be completely empty, and we'll be building one big wraparound rack to hold all of the fish in the house except for like the 55s of my rainbows, and
so he could
I'll
take care of those
over out here, but I'll be stealing a lot of Shelby's brine shrimp and stuff like that she's working hard on, of course, for my fish. All right, let's give it away. We're over time now. See what happens when you do this?
All right, let's go.
There was no last chance.
Sorry. You had your chance.
CP. Congratulations. I've never seen this name before.
Let's make sure you're in chat.
Is this somebody that's in chat?
Yeah, let's
before?
make sure.
Is that a new one?
Make sure you comment in there. I think their name's just different. Yeah, it was so close to you, Rob. So close. It teases everybody who gets that one right before. Let's hopefully they're in chat. We've had some giveaways where people were in chat or never emailed us. So we need to know that you're in chat. And there you go. It is Caprice. I thought so. So congratulations. You're in chat. Just make sure you email us at thegardenofeater@gmail.com, and we'll communicate on how to get those to you.
And we'll be shipping those out on Monday. Monday and Saturdays are now our shipping days. That way it gives me Tuesdays and Wednesdays to work around the house. Besides Jaden's room almost being finished, we also purchased over 200 bins for growing plants outside. So we got a few of them already set up, but there is quite a few things that I'll be moving around. Today, I was about to start doing some things, moving them around, and then I was like, you know what? I should do an update video for you guys before we start moving everything around. It's been like 1.5 years since I did the last update video on the greenhouse. Some has already changed. I moved the barrel before I got the idea, like, I should show before. And then, why is he going off? I bet you it's the frogs. He's always mad at the Is he just mad that he can't get in and that we blocked him out for this long?
Stuck between the chairs.
Oh.
What is wrong with you? He's like, there's someone outside. It's windy, so he probably sees a lot of shadows and thinks someone outside.
Man, space number 3. I don't know what I was talking about. Oh, all right. Yeah, finishing everything up. We got the tubs and stuff. Some of them are set up, but it's going to be a project of breaking things down. But it'll be a good little update video for you guys, a little teaser on what's to come for the future.
So there was something here a second ago. Oh, there's Killer Kitty with a $5 super chat with a cool little karate dog or cat. I'm not sure. It's cute. Thank you so much, Killer Kitty, for the $5 super chat. And then there was another thing. It was a membership milestone from Yellowstone Aquatics, member for 5 months. Thank you. Said, thanks for being amazing. Well, thank you for watching us. Thank you so much.
I think Bob was capping on the mini musk turtles. He wants them all for himself. I'll be honest. That's what it was.
Okay.
Dean would not lie
Goodness
to
gracious.
me like that.
Anaconda says, what can I mix with my tangerine tigers to get green caradina?
Oh, well, the best and easiest way, not best, I'm sorry, the easiest way to get green caradina is to use tangerine tigers to make green apples. Green apple tigers are made by crossing tangerine tigers and Aurora blue tigers. Now, the trick and the problem with this is you want the absolute highest grade of both tangerine tiger and Aurora blue tiger that you can possibly get your hands on. And like tangerine tigers, it's easy. Go to our website, order them. I will put my foot down to any other line of tangerine tigers out there that ours are better, produce less culls, will outbreed anybody else's tangerine tigers. Unless your name's Matt, you can't kill these things. And
I hope he's still listening.
so the problem is finding good quality Aurora blue tigers. Almost everybody that breeds them keeps them for themselves, so that way they can work on the new line. They're few and far between, and the Aurora blue tigers, they just breed so slow. If you can find high grades of each, your very first cross of green apple tigers, when you cross the Auroras and the tangerine tigers, your F1s, those are pretty much going to look the best. They're going to be the greenest. They're going to look the coolest. And it's just going to be like, oh, yeah, it's false hopes, basically. Because you think you're going to be able to work on it and get it better. But then what happens is the tangerine tiger line gets doubled up on. And it's the dominant gene. And it just shows through. The orange color just comes back and back. And even if you get a green, it can flip-flop from green to orange, and it just doesn't look nearly as good as the first generation after that. Then the other green caradina, tangerine tiger cross with any of the Taiwan bees is the best way. However, it's a long and painful road, and I really didn't get any greens until I gave up on the project, and out one day came a green, also some yellowish colored ones and stuff like that. So if you want greens, your best way to do it is place an order on our website for some tank tie and ask me nicely to pick from my green colonies. There are colonies where I breed for pintos. There are colonies where I breed for backlines. There's colonies where I breed for yellows. So you want some out of the green tank. They're few and far between, but if you're watching this, chances are I'll reward you for your what's the loyalty or
I don't know what you're looking for. CPS,
being a fan.
How many shrimps in the free pack?
It's a 10-pack of some tang tie.
Yep. It says, thank you. I was waiting to order some shrimp, soy ahoy, and food anyways. That's nice. Thanks.
But just know if you buy the green tang tie, culls, or whatever you'd be getting off of me, your chances of getting green are few and far between, because out of the tank now that I've been trying to breed greens for the last year, I've only gotten 3 more greens. So I went from 4 to 3 in 1 year. So, and I haven't been pulling any out of the cull tank, and that's where you would be getting your shrimp from. I just want to be honest with you. It's slim pickings. That's why there isn't any green caradina out there. I can talk about greens all day. You want to talk about green hulks?
Have a good night, Ruben. His
that what
comment
you're laughing
came.
about?
No, his comment came out so wrong. It's just I'm not gonna read it because it's too funny. Have a good night. Good night, Caprice. Don't forget to email us. And I think we're all caught up on questions. If you did if I missed your question, you can ask now before we end the stream.
Just one more thing about shipping. Everybody asks me, when's the best time I should ship? Well, if you're shipping priority mail, I would ship out on Monday if you're super worried about it, or you live like for Dallas, if you live in Maine or Washington, maybe you'd want to ship out on Monday. If you lived in Louisiana or Arizona, you could probably ship out on Tuesday using priority mail, and they'll get there on Wednesday or Thursday, no problem. But with overnight shipping, I would recommend ship them overnight on Wednesday, so that way they arrive on Thursday. If there's any delays, hopefully they arrive on Friday. But here's my issue with overnighting, and it's just a little risky when you take into account for contests. And this has happened for people's shrimp at the contest. All right, you pay a premium for overnight shipping, and people expect it to be there overnight. Well, USPS has a reimbursement. If it's not there the next day, you get a refund. Well, now USPS has now lost money on that. So they know they're not making any money. They're no longer worried about customer service or anything like that, or the package getting there on time. And it's no longer on the priority overnight list anymore once you take that refund. It is now on the snail mail train to get to wherever you're going, and it could take even longer than priority at that rate. If there's something that happened and went wrong and it wasn't delivered overnight, for whatever reason, it just takes a couple extra days longer than it should. And it makes no sense for me, but that's something I would like you guys to think about when shipping out your shrimp. This is also why we try to drive our shrimp to all the contests, the shows. It's not viable, or it doesn't make a lot of sense for somebody to just drive one box of Neocaradina to the show when you can easily ship those out and still stand a chance to place in the contest and do well. You get the hobby out there. The coolest thing about Aquashella is there's like 3,000 to 5,000 people that have never even heard of shrimp or seen shrimp in person that go to these shows, and they walk around our little contest and they ask this question: "Oh, what are these? Would they do good with my anemone?" And then you're like, "No, they're fresh water." And they're like, "You're kidding me! You mean I have to spend all this money on equipment and I can still have something cool like that?" And you're like, "Yeah, check this out." So they're definitely going to be excited to find out that the freshwater setup cost is way cheaper than saltwater. So adding more tanks, that's what most people want, right?
Yeah.
You good for me?
What temperature range are okay for shipping Neocaradina?
All year round for us. There is no bad time to ship out the Neocaradina. Now, of course, say it was like 90 degrees here in Florida and negative 30 in Minnesota, I would probably say, wait for better, temperatures on both ends, so that way it's not that drastic. But I can still ship out to Minnesota, and the person can pick up from the post office and not have any issue. But this is the best time of the year to really ship out packages. It's not hot at all, and in most states, it's not too terribly cold. And even 40 or 50 degree weather is prime degree temperatures to be shipping out Neocaradina or Caradina shrimp that have been properly wrapped up in a couple layers of newspaper. I mean as many as you possibly can make that burrito fit inside that box, or use styrofoam or whatever. But I have talked about styrofoam being an issue with ripping boxes as it goes through the sorting machine. So we wrap with newspaper and make little crumple zones instead of using styrofoam.
All right. Bruce said, "Great stream, Grant and Shelby. You guys rock. Thank you so much."
I appreciate it. Thanks, man.
Yeah, and they're talking about clown killies. I am going very slow on those too. So my firemouth killies I was talking about that I'm doing really well with, the moss grew incredibly, and it takes up half the tank. So those have so much room to breed and the babies to hide that they did really well. I started with 3 in each tank, and now I'm up to like 10 plus in each tank. So really excited about those. And I think that's the same with the clown killies. They really need a lot of coverage so that the babies survive. Because let's face it, it's really hard to scoop out babies and put them in different tanks. So if they could breed in a tank, it's just so much better. So let's just say the firemouth killies have been at the top of my list for the best. Emphysemas, or some of them are next. They are really nice too. But the clown killies, and they're particular, and I think it is they need a lot of coverage. If you look, I think Papa Shrimp has a video about him breeding his clown killies, and he had a ton of plants in that tank. So just make sure that you get as much coverage as you can, and I think you'll have success with any killies fish that are annual that are in tanks.
I think you'd have a ton of killies
live
if we
food.
just played musical chairs with the fish, but
Yeah.
someone's holding all of the tanks up the shrimp. I don't know who that would be.
Yep. So it'll come by eventually, but yeah. Said I added some pearl weed recently and split the adults up more. Yep. I know a lot of people say that you wanted a big colony. Like some people suggested I wanted 6 or more in the tank, but it's like realistically you do just want 2 females and a male. Sometimes they can get territorial and you just want a male and a female in there. As long as you have a ton of coverage, the 2 females, 1 male seem to do really well.
Wait, hold the press. Stop everything. We forgot to talk about the thumbnail for tonight's video.
Oh, really?
All
Sorry,
right, so
I really want these striatoms.
if you guys see the thumbnail, now Shelby added a cool little green wave to it, and I love that. They didn't make the t-shirts already.
Do you
I
want me to
wish
show the t-shirts? I can bring it up.
I wish we could have added that on, but Sam Scales drew up the shrimp. John, that runs all the technical side of Aquashella, added in the Aquashella logo, and I think the shirts came out really nice.
It's terrible. I can't really see it, but let's see.
Are they like black and purple, like camo?
No, that's the background is
Okay.
to show you. Give me a second.
For some reason, I thought you closed out a StreamYard for a second.
No.
There's like no other screen but the one you just closed out. But anyways, we got the t-shirts designed. If you volunteered, you'll be able to get one of the t-shirts. We've got sponsors for this year's show: JBJ, UNS, Biped Shrimp, Flip Aquatics, TGOEshrimp.com, or us, the Garden of Eden. I don't know why I said TGOEshrimp.com. We got Teeter Tanks, which is Nick Teeter and Clemente Lewis at Shrimp
That did not
Studio.
work.
So
what is going on?
that is crazy.
I no, it didn't work. Stop.
But we and Joe's Shrimp Shack. We've got those 8 sponsors. They're on the back of the t-shirts. This is going to help ensure that the contest stays running, and that way we can continue to do these shows at Aquashella and grow the contest. Before we were in a small 10 by 20 area. We are now in a 40 by 40 or 20 by 40.
There we go.
I don't know. We got double the space basically, so it is a cost to us at the contest. So these sponsors are a great way for us to make sure that we have all the tanks, filters, substrates, minerals, and everything like that helps the show and contest and all that like that run. So really happy, and then we'll be selling these shirts at the merchandise booth to help build up profits. And then we can later on in future shows add on a few and exciting new things. I can't talk about any of those yet. They're still in the works.
Yeah, that's amazing. So we do have Caradina water for some of the killies. My firemouth killies are actually on tap water, which is around 7.5 pH. And they're doing really well in there. I would say tap water tends to do better for fish. For us, it depends on your tap water. If you would need to switch to Caradina, I would say that they were breeding better in the tap water here, but like I said, ours is at a 7, so it's not like crazy. Some people's are higher TDS. Ours comes around like 170. Yeah, so not bad. And then Laura said water spray with long roots worked for me. Yes, so floaters have really worked in a lot of the tanks. I did forget to mention that with the tank being half filled with moss, I also did have red root floaters, which the babies too go up to the top and eat. So it's much easier for them to eat if they can hide in the floaters away from the parents where they don't get swallowed up.
If anybody's looking for red root floaters, I would look. I'm asking for some guinea pigs. Basically, I'll give you like double the portion.
You legit were asking for guinea pigs or
I'll
chicken.
give you like double
that's
the
weird.
portion. They're $5 for like a small little handful. If you've gone to any of the shows, you've seen our portions before, but we've never really shipped them out. We always travel with them. So if anybody wants some red root floaters, $10 shipping, $5 per portion. You'll basically get double the portions. Email me at thegardenofeater@gmail.com, or just purchase an order on the website. Any orders over $50, put red root floaters in the notes, and I'll send you guys a free bag of red root floaters.
So mad not doing Chicago. Yeah, I'm also going to make you even more upset that most likely they will not be doing a show in Chicago again. That is just, I doubt it.
No. Hold on.
I doubt it.
I think in another year or two,
somewhere near there,
go
maybe.
back, because there is a huge market in Chicago. The show usually does really well. Just the unions, they can be a little pricey, and it's just not right when you ask for an estimated fee, and it's always higher because of the union. So it should go back to Chicago in the future. I would bet money on it. How you doing, Kenny?
Yeah, I see down here too asking if we have any water lettuce. Water lettuce is not allowed. It is illegal in Florida. So we do not have it, although it is awesome. It's invasive to our waterways, so we cannot have it or transport it. Even if we did have it, we have to have a special license just to have it. Although it's awesome in some of the tanks if you're allowed to. I mean it cool. It blooms really cool.
If you can find it, look for curly water lettuce. It has like altered leaves.
Mm-hmm. It's a little bit smaller too. I find it stays a little bit smaller. So
it's a little more nice than normal.
Our soy ahoy is not on the website? I'll have to double check that. Also, someone was asking for Aurora tigers, and we don't have those on the website. Do we have those available?
No. They
That's
breed
sad.
so slow for me, and they're in our bedroom, and our bedroom is going to move. All of the tanks are going to be moving into Jaden's room. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to sell any of those in the case that they don't make it in the move. But, the whitelist law can go into effect, and we have to sell everything in 90 days, so... Could be.
You never know. I would check with the Bloomfield, see if they usually have like Aurora tigers available. So I would see with them.
I don't think so.
I think they have a couple of times, but said red root floaters are like duckweed for me, but easier to control. Yes, those. And then what's our other one we have? I really like it.
Minimum.
Yeah, that one's really, really pretty, but it does get a little overcrowded, and then it's like it kind of hurts to try to get rid of that because it gets too much sometimes.
So the trick with red root floaters is they don't like the leaves to get wet. So if you have any flow or any kind of bubbles or anything like that are splashing, the leaves get wet, it's not going to do really well. And then, the brighter the light, the pinker, the redder it's going to look. So definitely some things to consider. If you have a high float tank or something like that, I would avoid doing the red root floaters.
Yeah, soy ahoy should still be on our website. Let me double check. Should be just click shrimp food at the top, and it's there. It just has its picture, soy ahoy. It's on sale for $7. That came out weird. All right. Yes, red root floaters are prettier.
Easy to maintain, easy to shake the baby shrimp out of and stuff like that.
Stephen P. says, I've had good luck shipping red root floaters in a Ziploc bag, separated and sandwiched between two very well wrung out paper towels. That's a good idea. Oh, like what paper towel? Yeah, that would be a good idea. Thank you. Robert Downey Jr. says, back to Orlando again next year for Aquashella. Do you know? I think it depends on how Daytona goes.
Probably not, though,
Mm-mm.
unless they find a different venue. I think the Gaylord Palms Resort is probably the nicest venue Aquashella could have found. It comes at a really high premium, and it wasn't really, getting the feedback that Aquashella was looking for. It's great for out of state people, but there's only so many people that come from out of state, and the majority of the people are traveling from somewhere in Florida, and they just want to go see the expo and leave. They didn't even walk through the entire hotel scenery and stuff like that. So
Rob said we have Aurora Blue Tigers done for sale at the moment, but lots of babies, so they'll be back home soon.
nice.
Yeah, I figured. I usually see them post them a lot, so I always want more and more. I love the Aurora Blue Tigers. They are
We set
beautiful.
out like 4 tanks of them last year, and 2 out of the 3 tanks just never did well. 2 out of 4 tanks just never did well. 1 tank did all right, and 1 tank is just doing its thing, not really doing good or bad.
So John says, how do you get rid of aphids on your floaters? The moment I put them in, 2 days later, I got them.
I don't have that issue. There's something that you can spray on floaters in general to get rid of them. I don't know what that is. If you know Bill Shields on Facebook, that's a question for him. He knows what it is. We tried to do floaters, and then I found out it's the water that was splashing on the red roots. I never wanted to do anything other than red roots out in our shrimp tubs, but because we do the sponge filters, the ripple effect will just keep splashing the water onto the leaves.
I feel like you could get rid of aphids really easily if you did like a 50 hydrogen peroxide and water mix and just shake them real good and wash them out and then put it back in your tank.
I think they're going to come
that's
back
probably-
though. You gotta figure out where they came from in the first place.
Well, usually it's food stuck in there is usually when I see aphids in the floaters. So is when I'm terrible at feeding floaters in the tank. I hate floaters because of that reason. Welcome in, Aqua Bonita. It's getting known as, does Salvinia come in 2 sizes?
I think there's more than one type of Salvinia. I'm not the floater expert, and I've avoided most of Salvinia because there's like 2 or 3 types that are illegal in Florida, and we're only like allowed to have 1 type. So, but the thing is with illegal floaters and stuff like that, as long as you're not transporting them, it's technically not illegal. So as long as you're not moving them or letting them overflow into waterways, they're fine right where they're at.
And so getting known, I also asked why floaters die in my water. I put some with no flow. Can they have too much light?
I don't think they can have too much light, but I don't think you might have enough nutrients in the water. So if your water's super clean, your floaters aren't going to do that well. If your floaters grow like mad and crazy, you're probably overfeeding, and your food is being dissolved into the clean water and then absorbed by the plants, and then they grow. So it's not a bad thing if you can't grow floaters.
All right. Well, I think we're going to call it a night. We went a little way past and just realized that.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for sticking with us for this long. And thank you all our super chatters, new members.
Thanks for Alex
yeah.
for showing up.
Yep. Thank you. And we really appreciate you. I hope you have a wonderful night, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.
You were missed.
Yes, very dearly missed. Thank you so much.